Fuck you. Vyrah reporting for duty. Another day? Is it? It is another day. Yes, 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 yes. It is another day. We will this will be some, we will do some reaction, some reacting, some reactivating, some watching, like stuff that like is going on, you know, like you get that I'm trying to fucking finish my joke and I cannot fucking find a way to do that. Well, let me tell you about like how my fucking ex used to call me. Yeah, if you understand. Okay. So so let me see. Streaming, gaming. Let's go. Is this okay? This is the stupid timing. But like, if my camera, like, actually, here you go. Here you go. Okay. So this is not standard. So. I have like quite a lot of things to react to today, but it's short things, and why not? Like, there's a lot of why nots because like, I've been like not following like the gaming industry actually quite enough. So yeah, but watch this. We'll start with my bias. Vice not biased towards the country fucking videos. All right, so yokai, I won't explain it because technically I don't exactly know, but like, let's check this out. Yokais are not ghosts, monsters, or creatures. Yokais are simply yokai. This this is actually interesting because yokai is really, I don't know if it's me, but like yokai is really a term that is like, I don't know why it took like this when Nintendo said this, or like why the fuck he found this, but this is actually true. You can feel within the vibe of yokai that yokai is yokai. There is no in between. It's really interesting, but I want to learn more.
One of the earliest memories I have from my childhood, at least when it comes to my love of gaming, was my ongoing quest, accompanied by my older brother and our neighbor friends, to completely beat from start to finish Super Mario Bros. 3. I remember a lot of frustration from the nightmarish level design of the Sky and Ice worlds respectively, to be sure, but in time, over at my buddy Brian's place, we finally got to Bowser's Castle, and after what felt like an eternity, beat the game. But we couldn't have done it without
Congrats.
one indispensable
I never
item,
did.
the Tanuki suit, which made its debut in Mario 3 and has ever since made a strong comeback in more recent Mario games. With it, Mario could fly after a good run, float for precision platforming, and turn into a statue, making him invulnerable to enemies and capable of stomping the unstoppable like piranha plants. As a kid, I really didn't question it too much. I mean, this is the same franchise that features sentient fungus, flowers that let you throw fire, sewer pipes that transported you miles around in an instant, and a dragon turtle that tried to take over the world. Having Mario in some kind of raccoon suit that let him transform was just icing on this already absurd cake. But as I got older and my interest in Japan became more academic, I finally started to ask myself, why is this power-up called a Tanuki suit? The heck is a Tanuki, and why does it let Mario do all this stuff? And it turns out that a Tanuki is a centuries-old Japanese folklore creature who had the power to use transformation magic and illusions via either a trusty leaf or their gigantic balls. A creature known in a subcategory of folklore figures known as yokai. This was not only the trigger that started me into a 6-year YouTube career
Oh,
teaching the
cool.
cultural origins and inspirations in video games old and new, but it was also my
I'm sorry. I have a PTSD about like my stream, the fucking microphone dying. So let me just. Okay. It's
first
fascinating.
educationally driven experience in yokai. And the more I thought of it, but it was also my first educationally driven experience in yokai. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that despite being branded a unique gem within contemporary Japanese culture, yokai are absolutely nothing new to the West. See, this is the weird thing about America's relationship with yokai. It's been my experience that much of the United States to this day still sees the hundreds if not thousands of creatures that make up Japan's folklore as something that, quote, only Japanese would understand and experience. I mean, granted, with the advent of Yokai Watch coming stateside,
I think that like when it comes to that, yokai, it's more of the philosophy and the energy surrounding it that only Japanese or really great lovers of Japan understand, because technically, other than that, like you can put a shell on something. It doesn't mean that there's some and you can put a shell that is similar to that looks similar to something else. It will be only a shell, while yokai is something that is really like there is like a lot of I don't know, emotionality to it, like it's kind of like if you can understand, but you need to feel it, to actually get it, what a yokai is. Yeah.
in 2013 and the lessening of stringent localization,
These donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
the word itself, yokai, is now more understood internationally than it ever has been before. But far before that, to say that the otaku and gaming community, if not mainstream media as a whole, had only been recently exposed to the concept of yokai couldn't be further from the truth. If you were a gamer even long before the anime boom of the late 90s, you know exactly what yokai are. You've seen them before. That's a yokai, that's a yokai, this entire game is
It's kind of like you can create like or discover like monster looking creatures, but yokai have their aura and have an aura of their own, kind of like a perfume of their own. That's what I meant.
is about yokai, and that one is too. Yokai, yokai, big time yokai, and that's only gaming. Some of the first anime we ever experienced stateside were chock full of yokai as well. That's definitely a yokai. This movie is full of nothing but yokai, and lordy, this show was nothing but yokai. But despite being in so many widely understood games, anime, and even movies, yokai are still a widely misunderstood mystery to the average person that's exposed to anime and even movies.
Yeah, so for me, the what I see like as a yokai is the image that like is engraved in my mind of a yokai is actually this. I don't remember where it was from what anime, but for me, like this is like the base representation of a yokai. There is like more complex, more stuff, but this is why also, because like when I was searching for videos like about yokai, I saw a lot of like how is it called, like really scary looking yokai. And actually, to me, it's so. I'll check it out. But this is exactly the representation of a yokai that is that that I understand. This is a yokai. Further than that, it's also there are also the others are also yokais, but this for me like is why like is there not like this folkloric scary looking like that I saw when I was searching on the internet for lore, well, folklore and the history of Japan.
Yokai are still a widely misunderstood mystery to the average person that's exposed to them. Heck, I've met a lot of younger folk in Japan who scratch their head at the concept despite being born in the country of their origin. Alongside my love of ninjas, yokai have been something that have fascinated me in my 16 years of learning everything I can about Japan. Because, as I'll explain later in this video, yokai are not only a reflection of the pure imagination of ancient to modern Japan, but rather, yokai are the keys for understanding the people's ways of life, how they, in that time period, perceived and understood life and existence. But before we get too deep into that, we have to define what exactly a yokai is, because this very base concept is something that even to this day, most folk don't understand. Because as a post about Yokai Watch on Nintendo's website says, yokai are not ghosts, monsters, or creatures. Yokai are, quite simply, yokai. This may seem like a cop-out.
And like I said, I will repeat it, this is absolutely accurate. Like, within the folklore, it's you need to kind of like get into get to love Japan in long enough and in a certain way to actually like understand why this is completely accurate. Because like it's not a it's completely a non-Western logic, but but this is entirely true. It's like it's just like I cannot like explain to you why this is true. I can tell you that like it's true feeling wise. It's true like it will be false to say otherwise because because from my understandings and from everything that I know from Japan, this is like this is true. Like my emotions just like see this as true. Like these are like the small like this is the beauty of Japan as well, where you have like this kind of like philosophical type of like representations where it's like you cannot there's no not argument with it's not an argument used with words but with feelings, and this is quite the phrase that represent what I'm talking about.
Answer to something that seems simple enough. Yokai look like monsters and act like monsters, so inevitably they must be monsters. But that's not really the case. The term monster is derived from the old Roman word monstrum, which is defined literally as a divine omen indicating...
Okay. Monstrum. I'm actually also fan of words. Monster. A divine omen indicating misfortune, an evil omen, portent, metonymically, a monster, monstrosity, whether size of character, figuratively, I think they evokes fear and wonder. And wonder, that's interesting. But like, so monster actually describes the divine. That's actually quite interesting.
Misfortune, an evil omen, or a portent. It's an unnatural creature that's born from or an omen to some terrible event that's transpired. Contemporarily speaking, monsters have always been a physical embodiment of these ill omens or result thereof. But yokai are very different in comparison. Though there are some yokai who are born from or are symbols of evil omens, such as the Nue, with its dark clouded presence and horrible howling that brings disease to whoever hears it, to classify yokai as physical and unnatural would be grossly unfair to what yokai actually are. Both corporeal and incorporeal representations of widely understood, but completely unexplainable, natural phenomena. Simply put, yokai are the explanation for the unexplainable in nature. In fact, the very word itself, yokai, roughly translates into bewitching mystery. Michael Dylan Foster's book, The Book of Yokai, of which I'll be referencing quite a bit in this series, uses the example of the yanari, or basically house squeakers, to illustrate this point. Yanari are tiny oni that appear in households late at night, particularly new or cheaply made homes, who use their kanabo clubs, mallets, and any other sort of tool that they can find to make noise all throughout the house. Squeaks, creaks, scratches, thuds, and slams. The yanari were the ones who were believed to be keeping you up at night with the noises that you can't explain. And that is wholly the point of yokai. In modern day, we understand that these small pop
This is also something that I also love about yokais is that they within their folklore. I haven't like watched much of like I cannot give you 15 examples about yokais, but it's their um, philosophies and logic that are absolutely absurd and just nonsensical compared to the regular logic that we share. It's like their objectives are plain stupid looking, but they're not. Their way to live is completely illogical, like not making any sense, but it adds a logic. And this is like the greatness of this folkloric tale and these folkloric creatures.
Creaks and squeaks are caused by the expansion of wood, glass, and other compounds that make up a house, which are then cooled in the evening, making these tiny noises when they contract. But Heian period Japan? Heck, Edo period Japan? There was no way of fathoming this due to the limitations of scientific discovery and understanding. Therefore, this simple but unexplainable natural phenomena that several people recognized was given a form and a name. One way to make this confusing differentiation easier to understand is to look at yokai through their Shinto roots. Because believe it or not, gang, the difference between yokai and the all-important Shinto kami are almost non-existent. Unlike our Western notion of monotheistic god, kami are not only not omnipotent, but they're also not, quote, good by default either. Kami are little more than the manifestations of nature, whether it be an object like a river, a tree, or an element, to a natural phenomenon like weather. Kami are spiritual personifications of the natural world, and the only difference between kami and yokai is how they're worshipped. A really good case in point comes again from Michael Foster's book. Sugawara no Michizane was a Heian period scholar who was a brilliant mind, but inevitably was banished to a horrible position in Kyushu, where after his death, he became an onryo, a being of pure malice who caused natural disasters and diseases out the wazoo. Eventually, through pacification and placation ceremonies, Michizane was transformed from a horrible onryo into Tenjin-sama, the kami of learning. Human agency, as the book cites, was what transformed the yokai onryo Michizane into the kami we know today as Tenjin-sama. In the case of kami,
And that's interesting, the connection between like kamis and yokais. But I'm guessing that that's what's also interesting, like that opens the door that yokais can also become like change in their form and become part of something. They're kind of like this. I feel like when it comes to divinity and just like supernatural beings, they are represented as this as a slime when it comes to when it comes to their possibility to grow, and this is really interesting
and yokai, the natural world
because it can become anything.
is broken down into two extremes: the unhelpful, the unwanted, the unworshipped yokai, and the helpful, the wanted, the worshipped kami. It's the difference between natural irrigation versus flooding, health versus sickness, peace and quiet versus annoying sound. So how is it?
And I think that this is wrong. What it says is wrong because you can see it, for example, with, well, there is a kappa right here, right? A kappa is a yokai, and yokais are not like this good and evil Western fucking fucking logic. Japan has this logic of colors, where it's like yokais are blue, kamis are gray, right? And there is no better or worse. There is certain people that prefers blue. There are certain people that prefers gray. It's not a good or bad situation. Not a good versus evil situation. It's more of a blue, gray, coexisting within the same river.
That yokai have become what they are today? How did yokai go from being malevolent, trickster, and even violent negative entities of nature into everything from cute and cuddly mascots to protagonist heroes to, I'm not even joking, lustful icons. To understand that, we gotta go back through the history of yokai as they were born and grew as Japan was born and grew. And while citations of yokai can go as far back as the Nihon Shoki and Kojiki, Japan's two oldest records of history, the real start of yokai was in the Heian period from 794 to 1185 AD. Back in this time, yokai were the broad subject of local folklore belief in the forms of yokai taiji, stories of humans slaying yokai, fudoki, local legends of different origins, and the otogi zoshi, short narrative text with occasional pictures. But as China's Taoist influence spread over Japan, it began to merge with Japan's initial concept of yokai, that being the negative and unknown principles of the natural world. In fact, the need for understanding the unexplainable aspects of nature was so important that there was a government branch purely devoted to it.
Wow.
The Onmyoji, the practitioners of Onmyodo, the path of yin and yang. Vague, I know, but the Onmyoji's role in court was critical. They were the ones responsible for organizing the calendar, measuring time, learning the future through divination, but most important of all was the protection.
And like now that I think of it, yin and yang is the same idea of like yin and yang is black and white. It's colors. It does not represent good and evil within yourself. It represents black and white. Why it can be your colors. You can do a yin and yang can be your favorite colors or your despised colors.
From Oni. Nowadays, we in the West understand Oni to be a humanoid demon or ogre featuring red, green, or blue skin with one-to-many horns, carrying around a kanabo club and wearing tiger skins. This, however, was a relatively modern outlook on the creatures, as the term Oni in Heian Japan was a broad label for any sort of vile, threatening creature to society. In fact, the popular terms bakemono and yokai wouldn't even be introduced into Japan until the Edo and Meiji periods respectively. Anyway, it was the
Yeah, Bakemono me and Bakemono, they are the monsters. Like, yokais were never they are like, they're so varied, and they are like, yokais are bound to nature as well, way more than Bakemonos.
sole duty of the Onmyoji to protect the country from a nefarious event that could kill a man merely by looking at it. The Hyaki Yagyo, translated as the Night Parade of 100 Demons. This was a supernatural phenomena where creatures of the spirit world would not just slide into the mortal world as the believed norm, but rather they poured into our world. A procession of every foul creature from the other plane wreaking havoc in the streets. It's believed even to this day that Oni, yokai, bakemono, whatever you want to call them, slip into the human world at dusk, a transitionary period wherein the two planes would overlap that would allow these creatures of the spirit world to enter our own. And the Onmyoji had until dusk to determine where the next Hyaki Yagyo would hit and evacuate the area. To not heed the divination warnings of the Onmyoji meant bad fortune, disease, even death. In Michael Foster's book, he recites a story called Okagami, or Great Mirror, in which a man named Morosuke encountered a Hyaki Yagyo while traveling through Kyoto. In his cart, he lowers the blinds and chants a protective incantation until the Oni pass.
Okay, one thing about yokai and past Japan like art is that like I'll go back a little bit. So this by modern standards looks ugly, but this is a stylistic choice. The thing, what they were drawing and what they were representing is we're not like as scary looking and as just like ugly looking. This is a stylistic choice that Japan had for centuries. Just so you understand.
So, in his cart, he lowers the blinds and chants a protective incantation until the Oni pass. For again, even just looking at the procession of nightmare monsters was enough to kill. Which is horribly ironic because since the Heian period, the Hyaki Yagyo has become the center of focus for literally every single visual medium Japan has ever experienced. From emaki scrolls, to books, to movies, to video games. Heck, the cute and kid-friendly Pokemon held the Pokemon Center Hyakupoke Yako campaign not more than a year ago, featuring well-known Pokemon, many of which who are themselves inspired by traditional yokai, are prominently marching down an old Japanese town street, exactly like the Hyaki Yagyo. But simply putting out an APB on Oni weren't the only jobs of the Onmyoji of Kyoto's court. Many of them were believed to not only foresee the coming of Oni, but could summon and control them.
Yo, To, Sha, Kai, Shin, X, Zai, Zen, Kyukyu no Ritsuryo!
Many of the more powerful Onmyoji were said to have one, if not more, Oni in their control as Shikigami. These were basically summoned and enslaved Oni taken from the spirit world and made to serve their master's will. And the most powerful Onmyoji in history, Abe no Seme, was said to have 12 different Shikigami at his command. That is until his wife grew intolerant of them and had Seme seal them away in a stone box under Ichijo Moribashi Bridge. So yeah, Pokemon, Yokai Watch, Yu-Gi-Oh! You can thank the Onmyoji of the Heian period for those inspirations. But we've actually covered that in another video. Now, fast forward about 400 years as we enter the Edo period. In that time, the practice of Onmyodo began to wane substantially, and Onmyoji had lost all importance to the imperial court. And with that, people's perspective of yokai and supernatural activity as a whole began to change in a lot of different ways. The Edo period, you see, was a time of great artistic resurgence in Japan, and with it, birthed the golden age of yokai. So, have you ever wondered how so many of these incredibly location-specific yokai, like the Kamitachi, who were only really known in the mountainous regions of northern Honshu, got so popular that, in time, they found their way into modern-day anime and games? That was due to one of the Edo period's biggest craze, the Hyaku Monogatari. Loosely meaning 100 stories, well, ghost stories to be specific. In late, hot nights of August, families and friends would gather together, light 100 candles, and tell ghost stories. Man, is it just me, or is there this constant use of the number 100 when dealing with yokai? I'll look into it later. Anyway, it was believed that when the final candle was blown out, a supernatural event would take place, such as the appearance of a yokai itself. While originally this practice was a way for samurai to test their mettle to their peers, the practice quickly became popular with common folk as a way to pass the hot summer nights. But what made this seemingly simple activity so important for the spread of yokai familiarity was the fact that during the 1700s, Edo had become a city larger than both Paris and London for the time. As such, trade traffic and migration from the countryside was huge, and with the people came the tales from their old hometowns. But story sharing alone wouldn't be the only thing that invigorated the people's love of yokai. Art. Art. God, art was booming like mad during the Edo period. And I don't just mean visual art, but also stories, poetry, and other written works. And from the public's desire to consume more and more works of art, people began to look for new inspirations, and many of them found their muse with yokai. Toriyama Sekien, a guy who we're going to be talking about a lot on this show, was one of the biggest spearheaders of this movement. In 1776, he published the Gazu Hyaki Yagyo, or the Illustrated Night Parade of 100 Demons, a name inspired by the old Heian belief itself. In his book, Sekien drew and categorized dozens of the staple yokai we know today, like the Tengu, the Nekomata, and the Kappa. And this was just one of several texts that Sekien would create. But aside from Sekien's books, other forms of media would begin to capture the stories of yokai in artworks like Emaki picture scrolls. One of the most famous coming from Tosa Mitsunobu, called the Hyaki Yagyo Zu, showcasing a diverse cast of yokai from the Muromachi period. Then there was also the Wakan Sansai Zue, also known as the Three Realms, an illustrated encyclopedia of life compiled by a doctor in Osaka named Terajima Ryoan. This 105-volume set drew heavily from Chinese and Old Japanese myths, bringing several now well-known yokai into popularity like the Ningyo, the Kawataro, and the Enko. But eventually, people went beyond just classifying yokai and eventually worked them into characters in what are known as kibyoshi between 1775 and 1802. Kibyoshi were pretty much picture books, usually around 10 pages long and making up a few volumes each. Originally printed with green covers eventually fading to yellow, thus the name. But the most fascinating thing about these little picture books was their subject matter. Satire, particularly satire at the expense of nobles and government workers. For example, in the case of the Bakemono no Yome Iri, The Monster Takes the Bride, author Jipincha Iku pokes fun at the complex and overblown standards of wedding rituals by nobles by replacing all members of the procession with various yokai. A comical poke at the standards of the rich and powerful to be sure, but for yokai, this was the beginning of their demystification. Their removal from tales of horror and dread and placing them into fun and comical scenarios. And that demystification came to a head in the Meiji Restoration. 1868 saw the end of the Boshin War and the reestablishment of the emperor's power. And with this drastic change came a frenzy of modernization. Seeing the colonial powers on the move, Japan wasted no time in modernizing everything about itself, from its government to its military to even its taste in food, clothing, and music. And with this modernization came people like Inoue Enryo, who believed it was high time that Japan get over its childish fear and infatuation with yokai. To do this, Enryo created the very first concept of yokai gaku, or yokaiology, in an attempt to rationalize these unexplained manifestations of nature to help Japan continue to modernize, thus gaining the nickname Yokai Hakase, or Yokai Professor. Yeah, just like that professor. Over time, Enryo eventually wrote the Yokai Gaku Kogi, or Lectures on Yokai, in 1893, a 2,000-page collection of yokai classifications breaking them down into kakai, provisional or false mysteries, and shinkai, secret things at the core of existence, basically trying to sort out every regional yokai and the supernatural phenomena that went with them and completely demystify it.
This
In
is
fact,
absolutely
some say that this could have been the
fascinating.
very death of yokai culture.
So, okay, so this is fascinating for one reason. It is because it was an imperial government that was leading this research. Do you understand? Like, to put you in perspective, like it's kind of like during the modern era in which we're living in, it's similar to America doing researches about UFOs and aliens. It is that's that's why it is so impressive to me, because simply put, it was not only democratical government that was like leading this, but an imperial government that was actually like doing this. So there was something to it if imperial elites within the shogunate were like, we need actually to create centers of study to actually to create a steam and let's say like organizations of study to study yokais, like, because basically they were studying yokais the same way that the American government studies space and extraterrestrial life, and this is really cool.
In Japan if it wasn't for one man, an American of all people, Lafcadio Hearn, also known by his Japanese name Koizumi Yakumo. Hearn was enraptured by Japan's yokai and the regional stories that came with them. And as a respected teacher and intellectual, his books on yokai such as Kwaidan, Glimpses of Unfamiliar Japan, In Ghostly Japan, and Shadow Wings were so well put together and entertaining that they were translated back into Japanese and took the country by storm, reinvigorating the people's love of their past in the form of various yokai and ghost stories. And that's when something clicked. Yokai, in essence, had come full circle. It was the mid-90s at this point, and Japan had changed. A lot. No longer a country of rural community and reverence for nature, but rather...
It didn't. It really didn't. But in a good way. Like, yeah, in a good way. If you study history. They, like, the changes that he talks about is true, but it really didn't. And this is the greatness of Japan.
rather a postmodern juggernaut who some in Japan thought lost its way. After World War II's devastation and Japan's economic explosion and industrial expansion, the yokai became the literal poster child for a nostalgic Japan. For those who wanted to remember and study the old ways of life, from the Heian courts to the Renaissance of Edo, yokai represented the beliefs, fears, and the phenomena that they experienced over the entirety of the country's existence. It was now yokai that feared humans, fearing for modernization, fearing that they would be forgotten. But yokai told modern Japan how they used to be, and how they used to think back in their ancient days. And because of this, yokai had to be preserved. They had to be studied. And now we have the great yokai boom of the mid-1900s. New titans of yokai culture and its preservation rose up, such as Shigeru Mizuki and his still-running series Gegege no Kitaro, alongside Kappa no Sanpei and Akuma-kun. Though I may make him sound like a footnote in this video, Mizuki is believed by many, myself included, to be one of the few folk responsible for the reinvigoration of yokai in the public eye, bringing Japan's folklore creatures back into the spotlight for a brand new generation. But he wasn't the only one. There was also Komatsu Kazuhiko, who developed a new form of yokai gaku, which focused on the relationship between human and yokai, how the two interacted, and how Japan's ancient population created yokai as a reflection of their own beliefs, even becoming the head director of the Nichibunkin International Research Center for Japanese Studies in 2012, a government-sponsored research field for the understanding of ancient Japan. Finally, there's Kyogoku Natsuhiko, a literary and yokai celebrity with his bestseller Ubume no Natsu, featuring the aforementioned yokai Ubume, his published roundtable discussion Yokai Baka or Yokai Crazy in 2001, and
finally, there's Gigok that actually promotes animes and so many animes so well that he actually like keeps on promoting the yokai culture. But in more seriousness, anime these days, because of the boom of anime worldwide, actually will make yokais become stay relevant forever.
finally, his tri-annual journal known as Kai the Strange, the only magazine dedicated to yokai. And now, here we are in 2019, and yokai are freaking everywhere. What, you don't believe me? Well, check this out. Yokai are officially in Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yokai Watch, Princess Mononoke, Mario, Fake Grand Order, Magic the Gathering, Persona, Mega Man, Okami, Power Rangers, Tekken, Harry Potter, Kirby, Inuyasha, Animal Crossing, Spirited Away. You want me to go on? Well, that's what we plan to do on this show. Breaking down some of the most unexpected characters from media and their yokai origins to get a better understanding of not only where they come from, but what they can teach us. Yokai are now everywhere, not just Japan, but all over the world. You just have to watch out for them.
Yokais can teach you a lot of things, but do you know what they cannot teach you? And only I can teach you. Something that I forgot. I wanted to do a joke, but like, yeah, forget about it. You'll never know. You'll never know. Whatever. You'd have to teach to you.
For now, I got a ton of people to thank. First and foremost, Matthew Meyer for his impeccable art and information. Seriously, if you're wanting to research yokai, this man's books are the best places to start. I consider him the modern Sekian. And while you're at it, pick up Michael Dillon Foster's The Book of Yokai. Most of my research came from there, and I barely scratched the surface. Big shoutouts to Volta Base, Dark Moon, The Gecko Ninja, and No Block Remix for their artistic contributions to the series.
Okay, so this was a great video. Like, there is nothing like I want to check out what the fuck this dude is doing other than that. So yeah, interesting stuff. Thank you so much, Gaijin Gumba, for your video. This is actually really good. I wanted to get into, because like the other, like when it comes to yokai, yokais, I'll say yokais. Basically, like there's like a lot of other videos that are like an hour long I want to get into, but like for this for the stream, I didn't want it to fucking like overdo it, and I'm already tired, so yeah. Let's skip. Thank you so much for this info. This is great art when it comes to historical journalism. Thank you so much, Gaijin Gumba. All right. Let me. So this is done. Let's keep on the weep train. Well, this wasn't weep at all. Like, let's keep on going on the weep train, and let's watch some Giga. Fucking love this man. This man is a legend. This man is a god. Alright. So when an anime leaves you speechless, 2. I watched the first one, so I'll do the same. The the same the same small exercise. So to me, animes that like left me speechless. The last time it was Cut Geass. And I don't remember because like but this time yeah boy Kume left me speechless. Elsing Ultimates left me speechless. What else left me speechless? Let me think about it. Let me think about it for a minute. An anime that left me speechless. Mm, uh, I need to rethink what anime I actually watched. Oh yeah, Apothecary Diaries. An anime that I actually didn't even finish. Left me speechless. Like, it was a suggestion from Gigak as well. And other than that, I guess, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? No, the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. And I think I said it last time, a Chainsaw Man. Well, Chainsaw Man, not for the reasons you think, it's just because of Makina. Makina Peskia.
Search up great anime moments in Google, and I swear you'll see the same 20 iconic scenes on every list. Goku goes Super Saiyan, Gear 5, Erwin's speech. These are all iconic moments that became iconic for a reason. But sometimes there are moments in anime that have stuck with me that might not exactly tick all the boxes for what people count as iconic. Scenes that I rarely see talked about, yet for one reason or another, I cannot forget. And about 2 years ago, I made a video talking about a collection of such scenes, but that was a longer video and I had so much more I wanted to still talk about, so here I am with another one. Are these necessarily the most iconic, the most famous, or maybe even the most talked about scenes from their respective shows? No. Is this video just my excuse to talk about a bunch of anime I love but don't have enough to say to make a full video?
Still no. It's all about the money. What we do here, it's all about the money. We do that for bad bitches and money. That's it. No passion found whatsoever. We don't even like he uses AI. And he uses a full team of actual fan of anime to make his videos. It is all about the money and bad bitches. Well, bad bitches for me. For me as a wife. Money.
Maybe, but just let me have this one, okay? Look, here's Songjin Woo. He has Aura. Ooh, Arise. There, I talked about solo leveling. Again, I'm obviously going to be spoiling the scenes I talk about, so I'll be sure to mention the exact show and episode before I talk about them. But you can also be a degenerate like me and decide to watch some shows based on some out-of-context scene you discover on YouTube Shorts. But this is going to be way better than that, I swear. You're not even going to need the Secret Grindset song in the background to watch them. So before we get to the first scene, I wanted to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, ROG. Guys, do you count yourself as a true gamer but don't want to compromise while you're gaming on the go? Well, ROG have got you covered with the release of their newest gaming tablet, the ROG Flow Z13. Now I know what you're thinking, Giga, did I hear you right? A gaming tablet? Yes. You heard me right, because this thing is an absolute beast. With its AMD Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 processor offering performance akin to a dedicated GPU, up to 128GB of RAM, and the ability to allocate up to 96GB of VRAM, it is the most powerful gaming tablet and the ultimate portable workstation. Its large 2.5K touchscreen with high refresh rate offers unparalleled detail and immersion, whether you're viewing the panel indoors or outdoors. And it's up to 10 hours of battery life, and it's just 13 inches. This baby is way more portable than most traditional laptops. Remember boys, it's not always about the size. It's about how many frames you can get out of this baby. And look, you can even detach the keyboard if you're looking for more space. And the thing I'm most excited about, it's got every port that you could possibly need. It's got HDMI, 2 USB-Cs, a standard USB, a micro SD, and even a headphone jack. What has the world come to that I'm genuinely excited to see headphone jacks again? The world is finally healing. I can honestly say that with the size and portability of this is about to become my new casual workstation I take with me everywhere. I did not think that you could fit this much power into a tablet. So, what are you waiting for? Click that link in the description to check out the ROG Flow Z13 today. Thank you very much to ROG for sponsoring us today. And with that said, back to the video. Anime flashbacks. Love them or hate them, you're going to see them. A lot of them. They come in all shapes and every genre of anime you can think of, and it is hard to just pick one to talk about. So I'm just going to pick one that left a lasting impression on me while capturing everything the series is about. The ice skating scene from Death Parade episode 11. An elevator opens. Sorry. No! A lift opens and you emerge into a bar with another person. You have no memory of how you got there, what you were doing before, or where you are now. A well-dressed gentleman greets you and tells you, so, 2 dead people walk into a bar. Okay, and? What's the joke? You are then told you have to play a series of games with your life on the line. No Squid Game. And as you do, visions, memories slowly emerge, stopping you in your tracks as you begin to realize that you are dead. Everything you know is gone, and all these fun games you're playing will determine whether your soul is going to heaven or hell. And then it hits you. What is this? Some kind of death parade? Everybody, put your hands up! Death Parade was a series that'll give you more existential dread than 5 minutes on the shitter with an out-of-battery phone. A show that truly put the die in Daijobu, where a bunch of smarmy bartenders get to decide whether your soul is worth going through eternal damnation because you can't hit a single triple 20 in darts. And this is the game you'll be playing today. I'm already in hell, aren't I? Yup. But there's one person who seems like an anomaly for the entire series, who, unlike the rest of the staff, seems oddly human. She questions the whole process, brings doubt into every judgment, and pretty soon you figure out that she's not like the rest of them. But then the question lingers throughout. Who is she? Where did she come from? Where did she go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? The series holds and holds right up until episode 11, where it finally pulls the trigger, revealing her backstory in a manner that has stuck with me to this day. One scene, one track, no dialogue, just a single beautiful performance. The song starts and you think, my personal favorite genre of music. Emotional damage. Through this ice skating scene, we are told everything we were.
Oh, my favorite genre of music, emotional damage, bro. This is my actual personal favorite genre of music. How did you know that this genre existed? I said it in another video. I think you know too much about me, Gigak. I think something is sus. Sassy says, okay? No, it was in a video about. Wait, maybe you ran with a corpse husband.
Would ever need to know. A story of a simple girl who fell in love with a sport, intertwined with a simply spellbinding performance. It's just beautiful. I think what I love about the scene is the symphony of conflicting emotions that come with it. The happiness, the melancholy, the fulfilling sense of emptiness, all working in tandem with this hauntingly beautiful track. Through 5 minutes, this one scene captures what 10 episodes of Death Parade had done previously without uttering a single word. And as you get more and more absorbed with her performance, you can't help but fight this feeling of dread. You know where she is. You know what this show is about. The dread lingers and lingers, building up to the climax of her performance, of her story, of her entire life, until eventually it all comes crashing down. This one's really gonna split the age down.
Okay, this is interesting. Like, the premise is something interesting, and it will be on my maybe list. It will be on my maybe list that, like, I will not fucking write the name of the anime. If I stumble upon it, maybe, but like, too many good artists these days and too many good animes these days. That's fine.
Demographic of this video. Our childhood years are some of the most formative years of our lives, and there have been moments in anime that have formed a collective core memory for the generation of kids watching them. The pure shock as Pikachu cried while Ash turned into stone. The excitement seeing Yugi using Exodia against Kaiba. But the one scene that brings that wave of nostalgia while still fully holding up no matter how much older I get is Omnimon's transformation from Digimon the movie. How do I even set the
this
stage
is
for this? The
niche.
year
This is
2000.
cool.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
It's the turn of the millennium. People are freaking out over Y2K, and about 40% of you watching this right now have not even been born.
Except fucking Koreans, because they live like, no, they follow the same. It's about their age that they are like 1 year younger.
Yet. Jesus Christ. The mainline TV series is over, the world has been saved, and our protagonist's journey have come to an end. But then, out of nowhere, comes a sequel movie directed by Mamoru Hosoda, who would go on to become one of the most critically acclaimed directors anime has ever seen. Yeah, can you say that, Pokemon kids? I don't know why I'm still trying to fight this fight. We had no hope in hell.
Get over it. Okay.
This movie was far too good for any kid to truly appreciate, and looking back, I swear it's the most millennial coded shit anime has ever seen.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go.
This is a real scene in the movie. I am not joking.
He's tone deaf.
So here, when a brand new super evil villain appears, most of the OG team is busy, save for these four, and also
Wait.
Sora. But she didn't want to contribute.
Wait. The oh, fuck you. Oh my fucking god. Wait. This is my. Why the fuck have you done this fucking stream footage? Let me check. Okay, I need to check my whole fucking. Because I just noticed it, like. Yeah, okay. And why the fuck you do this to me? Bruh, like, oh my fucking god. So, browser. Yeah. Oh my fucking god, I need to rewatch it. Fuck you. Okay, well, I guess I'll learn. Ooh, let's do the magic of fuck you. Sometimes stuff sucks. Okay, so when anime leaves you speechless too, I actually watched the first one, and we'll do the same exercise as I did when I first watched the first one. For me, animes that left me speechless. Code Geass. Yaboy Kume. What else? How is it called? The first season, and not the second season, actually, of Jujutsu Kaisen. And Chainsaw Man, but not for the reason you would think. just because of Makima. Makima, best girl. Anyway, let's get to it. Again.
Search up great anime moments in Google, and I swear you'll see the same 20 iconic scenes on every list. Goku goes Super Saiyan, Gear 5, Erwin's speech. These are all iconic moments that became iconic for a reason. But sometimes there are moments in anime that have stuck with me that might not exactly tick all the boxes for what people count as iconic. Scenes that I rarely see talked about, yet for one reason or another, I cannot forget. And about 2 years ago, I made a video talking about a collection of such scenes, but that was a longer video and I had so much more I wanted to still talk about, so here I am with another one. Are these necessarily the most iconic, the most famous, or maybe even the most talked about scenes from their respective shows?
No. Thankfully.
No. Is this video just my excuse to talk about a bunch of anime I love but don't have enough to say to make a full video?
No. It's all about money. We do this for money. Money and bad bitches. That's all. He never show it. I should check how the fuck Giga works. He has a bunch of salary men from Japan that actually like do all the watching anime stuff. And he's in here just for the cash. Like, do not, you can, his videos are as good as there are, but remember, kids, we're in here just for the money. I mean, he has his he has his girlfriend and his wife. For me, money and bad bitches. We're not friends. We're just trying to fucking make a living.
Maybe, but just let me out
and find bad bitches.
this one, okay? Look, here's Songjin Woo. He has Aura. Ooh, arise. There, I talked about solo leveling. Again, I'm obviously going to be spoiling the scenes I talk about, so I'll be sure to mention the exact show and episode before I talk about them. But you can also be a degenerate like me and decide to watch some shows based on some out-of-context scene you discover on YouTube Shorts. But this is going to be way better than that, I swear. You're not even going to need the Secret Grindset song in the background to watch them. So before we get to the first scene, I wanted to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, ROG. Guys, do you count yourself as a true gamer but don't want to compromise while you're gaming on the go? Well, ROG have got you covered with the release of their newest gaming tablet, the ROG Flow Z13. Now I know what you're thinking, Giga, did I hear you right? A gaming tablet? Yes, you heard me right, because this thing is an absolute beast. With its AMD Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 processor offering performance akin to a dedicated GPU, up to 128GB of RAM, and the ability to allocate up to 96GB of VRAM, it is the most powerful gaming tablet and the ultimate portable workstation. Its large 2.5K touchscreen with high refresh rate offers unparalleled detail and immersion, whether you're viewing the panel indoors or outdoors. And it's up to 10 hours of battery life, and it's just 13 inches. This baby is way more portable than most traditional laptops. Remember boys, it's not always about the size. It's about how many frames you can get out of this baby. And look, you can even detach the keyboard if you're looking for more space. And the thing I'm most excited about, it's got every port that you could possibly need. It's got HDMI, 2 USB-Cs, a standard USB, a micro SD, and even a headphone jack. What has the world come to that I'm genuinely excited to see headphone jacks again? The world is finally healing. I can honestly say that with the size and portability of this is about to become my new casual workstation I take with me everywhere. I did not think that you could fit this much power into a tablet. So, what are you waiting for? Click that link in the description to check out the ROG Flow Z13 today. Thank you very much to ROG for sponsoring us today. And with that said, back to the video. Anime flashback.
Let me just check one thing. I have like some sort of PTSD about like a lot of things. Okay.
Love them or hate them, you're going to see them. A lot of them. They come in all shapes and every genre of anime you can think of, and it is hard to just pick one to talk about. So I'm just going to pick one that left a lasting impression on me while capturing everything the series is about. The ice skating scene from Death Parade, episode 11. An elevator opens. Sorry. No! A lift opens and you emerge into a bar with another person. You have no memory of how you got there, what you were doing before, or where you are now. A well-dressed gentleman greets you and tells you, so, 2 dead people walk into a bar. Okay, and? What's the joke? You are then told you have to play a series of games with your life on the line. No Squid Game. And as you do, visions, memories slowly emerge, stopping you in your tracks as you begin to realize that
So when it comes to like storytelling, this is actually really, really, really brilliant. Really never seen I've never heard a story before like this. So this is like if you're into something that is outside of the scope of the norm, the regular type of storytelling, type of stories that you like to watch in anime, you should give it a watch just because of this. Because this type of storytelling is usually something that leaves a long-lasting impression. On top of that, suggested by Gigak, and to add to that, like I told you so. Just because I told you. Streamer privilege. I have nothing else.
you are dead. Everything you know is gone, and all these fun games you're playing will determine whether your soul is going to heaven or hell. And then it hits you. What is this? Some kind of death parade? Everybody, put your hands up! Death Parade was a series that'll give you more existential dread than 5 minutes in the shitter with an out-of-battery phone. A show that truly put the die in Daijobu, where a bunch of smarmy bartenders get to decide.
Let me just put a poison can in a freezer.
whether your soul is worth going through eternal damnation because you can't hit a single triple 20 in darts. And this is the game you'll be playing today.
No, this is what eternal damnation looks like.
I'm already in hell, aren't I? Yup. But there's one person who seems like an anomaly for the entire series, who, unlike the rest of the staff, seems oddly human. She questions the whole process, brings doubt into every judgment, and pretty soon you figure out that she's not like the rest of them. But then the question lingers throughout. Who is she? Where did she come from? Where did she go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? The series holds and holds right up until episode 11, where it finally pulls the trigger, revealing her backstory in a manner that has stuck with me to this day. One scene, one track, no dialogue, just a single beautiful performance. The song starts and you think, my personal favorite genre of music. Emotional damage. Through this ice skating scene, we are told everything we would ever need to know. A story of a simple girl who fell in love with a sport, intertwined with a simply spellbinding performance. It's just beautiful. I think what I love about the scene is the symphony of conflicting emotions that come with it. The happiness, the melancholy, the fulfilling sense of emptiness, all working in tandem with this hauntingly beautiful track. Through 5 minutes, this one scene captures what 10 episodes of Death Parade had done previously without uttering a single word. And as you get more and more absorbed with her performance, you can't help but fight this feeling of dread. You know where she is, you know what this show is about. The dread lingers and lingers, building up to the climax of her performance, of her story, of her entire life, until, eventually, it all comes crashing down. This one's really going to split the age demographic of this video. Our childhood years are some of the most formative years of our lives, and there have been moments in anime that have formed a...
So I will say that this is what should have happened in Naruto. But fuck you, Ineta. But yeah, for me, this anime will be a pass, most likely, unless I have like nothing else to do, like just because of how many great anime there is. Okay, like I just don't have the time to fucking like to fucking get into that. But if I stumble upon it, maybe this will be an experience. Maybe this is the hidden gem that like I am searching for. I don't know, but we'll see. And fuck you, Hinata, marrying Naruto. This is the ending that people deserved.
A collective core memory for the generation of kids watching them. The pure shock as Pikachu cried while Ash turned into stone. The excitement seeing Yugi using Exodia against Kaiba. But the one scene that brings that wave of nostalgia while still fully holding up no matter how much older I get is Omnimon's transformation from Digimon the movie. How do I even set the stage for this? The year is 2000.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
It's the turn of the millennium. People are freaking out over Y2K, and about 40% of you watching this right now have not even been born yet. Jesus Christ. The mainline TV series is over, the world has been saved, and our protagonist's journey have come to an end. But then, out of nowhere, comes a sequel movie directed by Mamoru Hosoda, who would go on to become one of the most critically acclaimed directors anime has ever seen. Yeah, can you say that, Pokemon kids? I don't know why I'm still trying to fight this fight. We had no hope in hell.
Get over it. Okay.
This movie was far too good for any kid to truly appreciate, and looking back, I swear it's the most millennial coded shit anime has ever seen.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go.
This is a real scene in the movie. I am not joking.
He's tone deaf.
So here, when a brand new super evil villain appears, most of the OG team is busy, save for these four, and also Sora, but she didn't want to contribute, because being useful would be out of character for her.
Stupid tie.
Enter Dioboromon, a Digimon computer virus hybrid. Since McAfeemon and Nortonmon weren't installed and people didn't know any better than to open files in an email from a Nigerian prince, Dioboromon starts fucking everyone up. And I mean everyone. Nothing with an internet connection is safe. The phones are dead. He's launched some nukes and nobody can seemingly stop him. He destroys the two heroes' most powerful Digimon, leaving them closer to death than you'd ever seen as a kid. And to add insult to injury, he's made over 1 million copies of himself when our heroes could barely manage to make it out alive when they're
1 million copies of himself. Actually, only things like the songs of Michael Jackson that no one really like cares and likes, but and it never sings the best songs of Michael Jackson.
there was just one of him. My brain could not comprehend how they were going to get out of this situation. There was no hope. There were no more options. And that's when this happens. Wait, they're combining? They're fucking combining!
Part War Greymon.
Part Metal Garurumon.
They digivolved together to become...
Omnimon!
Look, I'm pretty sure there is something coded into every young boy's DNA to find the concept of two or more things combining to make even bigger, more powerful thing the most exciting thing ever. So imagine how it was as a kid to see the two most iconic Digimon coming together to make an even cooler one whilst an epic orchestral version of the theme song plays in the background. Then right after, he parries 1 million attacks while ska music starts playing as Omnimon starts deleting all the enemies on screen while shouting the sickest attack names ever.
Transcendent Sword Supreme!
Wow.
I remember back then, a girl, an actual girl, gave me a completely unprompted, genuine compliment.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this never happened to me, so I'm like, yeah. Good on you. Good on you.
And this shit was still my highlight of that year. This, right here, seeing the explosions fill up the screen, Omnimon cemented himself as being the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Finishing things off with the
It's not because she gave you a compliment that you're cool, okay?
hypest attack battle cry in this entire movie, which somehow isn't Transcendent Sword or Supreme Cannon. It's fucking Izzy shouting,
You got mail!
If the cultural significance of that is lost on you, it's like watching fucking Gojo gearing up for the killing blow, but then coldly saying some shit like, "Skibidi toilet," and somehow making that moment hit. Digimon the movie was an absolute fucking enigma for a kid's movie. It was so bloody good that Mamoru Hosoda would need to remake it again. Twice.
Okay, so this one, I gotta tell you, if you're into like going back to vintage anime, like this should be I don't know, something on your list. This this is not for me at all. I will need to fucking get into Digimon, and I will need to actually like be like train myself to fucking like not fucking despise anime that are where the main characters are children, like because I am one, and seeing children in an anime more intelligent than me, like really frustrates me, and really fucking like makes me depressed. Okay, so but like if you're into like all this stuff, I'll recommend you rewatching like Pokemon and Digimon as well. So yeah. Anyway.
When we think anime action scenes, 90% of the time we think fights. Hand-to-hand combat, sword fighting, ridiculous anime superpowers where they give a fighter some, I don't know, corrosive breast milk they fire using hair shaped like hands to squeeze down on their chest. That's a real power. And yet the average Baki fan would call that normal. In terms of anime fights, there are too many examples to count of moments that have taken my breath away, but what we don't see too often in anime is getting down and dirty with some more gritty action. I'm talking John Wick, Die Hard, old school 80s action movies, and in that vein, no singular moment of action has sold me faster on a show than the Apache helicopter standoff from Black Lagoon, Episode 2. Black Lagoon is an anime I don't hear too many
Okay, Black Lagoon, I need to fucking put it on my watch list. Like, this is an anime that I heard from before. Black Lagoon. Yeah, I'll just write this down because I forgot.
people talk about nowadays, and I realize that's because it is now as old to modern day anime coming out today as the original Dragon Ball is to when Black Lagoon first started airing. This was the no bullshit action show, following the lives of modern day pirates living in a place where the average resident wakes up to a city in tatters, having to spend every single day fighting for their lives because PvP is permanently turned on. I think I know a bloke who lived there once. Birmingham! If you like John Wick, well, imagine a world where there are dozens of them, except they are all crazy hot anime girls with enough screws loose to assemble a fucking IKEA dining table. And was absolute crack to my teenage brain.
There's enough girls with screws loose that you can fucking build an IKEA table with.
I'm pretty sure this show single-handedly ruined my taste in women before my prefrontal cortex had fully developed, and I have never recovered since. It's in your face, politically incorrect, pushing your sense of disbelief to its limits with enough explosions to finish off a Michael Bay gooning sesh. If The Rule of Cool was a series, this was it, and it only took 2 episodes for one scene to let you know exactly what kind of ride you were about to get on. Let me set the scene. It's episode 2. Our crew is on the run from a bloody attack helicopter and they are pinned down inside of a mangrove. It's a dead end. They've got nowhere else to run. Armed with a simple ship with no anti-air capabilities and the prospect of having to go face to face with a helicopter with enough firepower to become part of NATO, things are looking dicey. That is, until the newest crew member comes up with a suggestion proving that somehow, in a city with mercenaries, gangster leaders, shotgun nuns, and a bloody man from Florida, no one is more insane than a repressed Japanese salaryman with nothing to lose.
This boat's armaments and speed, that sunken ship we passed, I'm pretty sure we have everything we need. I say we go face to face with these guys.
Are you retarded?
The boat sets off, and you start thinking, no, surely. They wouldn't, right? At this point, your posture changes from this to this.
You're about to get fucked, baby.
The anticipation continues to build. The adrenaline starts pumping as the boat gets closer and closer. You hear,
300 feet to go.
no way this is happening. Nah, no way.
150.
Holy shit, they're doing it. They're actually fucking doing it.
100.
Is this really happening? And then...
You got fucked!
And that
You
is
got
how to sell me
mail.
on a show.
Okay, so this is not the type of high octane action that like I really appreciate, but I understand completely why like it's something that that sold the show to Gigak. Like this is really something cool.
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch!
How do you introduce a villain? Well, anime has taught us that you have many options. Aura, dropping them in the moment you least expect it. Aura, having them solo an entire army of people by themselves. Aura, give them the most badass theme song you can think of. Aura. Oh, and how can I forget? Aura. But the one introduction I will never forget is Shogo Makishima's from Psycho Pass episode 11. Alright, so technically this isn't the first time we see him, but this is the first.
Psychopaths also on my list. Fuck. Sorry for that. Okay.
time we get to see what he's all about, and this scene alone catapults him into the Hall of Fame.
It was a series of this one I want.
Of greatest anime villains by completely breaking the world alone. Catapult we see him but from Psycho Pass Aura. But the one introduction I will never forget is Shogo Makishima's from Psycho Pass episode 11. Alright, so technically this isn't the first time we see him, but this is the first time we get to see what he's all about, and this scene alone catapults him into the Hall of Fame of greatest anime villains by completely breaking the world of Psycho Pass. This series is all about the Sybil system, a supercomputer that is able to analyze people's psychological aptitude that determines every major decision a person can do, where they go to school, what jobs they can get. And that includes how likely someone is to commit a crime in the form of their crime coefficient, which the police can conveniently measure using their specialized guns. A low score indicates a healthy, law-abiding individual where the gun will be locked unable to shoot, while a high crime coefficient is what the average person feels when they forget they have a water bottle while walking past TSA. And depending on how high it is, this can unlock the gun from stun to lethal force. The important thing to note is that things can happen that can spontaneously increase someone's crime coefficient, like going through a traumatic event or hitting the go live button on Kick. Enter Shogo Makishima, an infamous criminal that seems to be the binding link across every case we've seen in the series thus far, and most recently he sent the police on a wild goose chase by kidnapping the best friend of our main protagonist, Akane. That is, until Akane catches up to him, leading to this standoff. Okay. Pause. As soon as the scene started, you knew something was about to go down. You got the stakes. A psycho mass murderer carrying a shotgun with the best friend of a righteous cop who had put her trust into the system she represents, who is also armed. Both within line of sight without being able to reach each other. This setup didn't have a Chekhov's gun. It was a full-on bloody firing squad. Because up till now, nothing had truly happened to Rattle Akane, but this time felt different. You're not sure what, but something is going to go wrong. And as you watch the scene unfold, it induces so much squeaky bum tension, my farts would have sounded like Mariah Carey hitting her highest kettle notes. The first alarm bells start ringing when Akane points the Dominator at him and horrifyingly finds out that Makishima is normal. Even while actively committing a crime, while torturing her friend, his mind is so inconceivably twisted that he sees himself as doing nothing wrong. And Sybil agrees. She physically cannot take the shot. This is when Makishima offers her an out. He throws her the old-fashioned shotgun and steps out into the open, taunting her to take a shot, ignore the system, and make the choice to kill. Murder someone herself, and at this point I'm thinking, okay, so he's like gonna bait her into shooting. She accidentally kills her friend, leaving her with a guilty conscience, messing up her psychopath, and then... And that's the moment you get the sinking realization that what he wants to do is so much worse. What makes this scene truly terrifying is how it's able to portray the feeling of being completely helpless. As utterly desperate as Akane is to stop him, she's been conditioned to trust in a system that refuses to listen to her in her biggest time of need. And she can do nothing but witness the horror unfold in front of her eyes. Here is a character that can make you feel completely powerless, not because he has a high power level or he just beat up one of the strongest characters in the show, but by his sheer existence in this world. Akane continues to frantically
By, I'd say even better. By not by sheer existence, but by the fact that something like this exists. in general. It's kind of like that it's not that this monster exists within the world. No, no, but that how can I say it? It's not that a monster like this exists in the world, but that this monster in particular exists in the world. I think that's what he wants to translate, and this at least from me, this is what I see. Like this is how I interpret this.
Points her gun at him, yet his crime coefficient keeps ticking down, lower and lower, almost as if it's a countdown to the inevitable. She pleads with him, her friend begs for her life, but there is absolutely nothing they can do. Ending things off with one of the most chilling things you can hear in this universe.
犯罪係数0
And the only thing left is for Makishima to leave his mark as one of the greatest anime villains to ever grace our screens. In short, Aura. Great writing, insane plot twists,
I will actually watch this anime, and I should suggest you to watch this anime. Like this is a give it a try type of anime. Like for me, I'll watch.
interesting characters, all noise distracting you from the one thing that truly matters. Vibes. There are moments in anime that leave an imprint on me because, simply, the vibe was immaculate. A culmination of the aesthetic, the music, the mood, the atmosphere, all coming together to form an experience that sticks with you, even if you don't fully understand why. And no scene encapsulates this more perfectly than the motorbike scene from Terror in Resonance, Episode 4. Shinichiro Watanabe is no stranger to vibes. Kids on the Slope has my favorite music performance of all time. Cowboy Bebop was iconic in just about every single aspect.
I will be annoying again. Terror in Resonance is actually an anime I want to watch. Yeah. Here you go. Yeah.
Samurai Champloo helped popularize an entire genre of music that is still a part of pop culture today. If there was a CEO of vibes, this man would be it. And yet I still think the unique atmosphere he crafted in Terror in Resonance remains unmatched. This series, in my opinion, has the best soundtrack in anime. Bar none. Every track is a chilling experience that pierces the soul. Icelandic songs that can soothe the flames of hell, and he puts it with an anime about blowing up buildings and setting the world on fire. Never before has destruction been so serene, chaos so calming. It is goddamn beautiful. Was the writing perfect? No. Was it the cleanest execution in the world? No. But there are scenes in this anime that invoke feelings I have yet to experience again to this day, and maybe never will. The final climax, the Ferris wheel scene, and of course, this one. At this point, the main plotline of the episode has just been resolved. Our protagonists have sent the police into a frenzy by dropping a virtual bombshell on the world. No buildings are getting blown up today. The commotion is over. Everyone is given a brief moment to breathe. And then you hear this.
Someone tell me how I got here.
The song starts as the motorbike glides through the dazzling city lights. The girl, still fearful, gripping for her life, decides to open her eyes, and what she is greeted with is pure sensory poetry.
Spirits flying at the speed of light.
This right here, guys, is it. And I don't even know what it is. The fear, freedom, and beauty of life all captured within a single moment. When she tilts her head and shuts her eyes, what I would give to be at the place she is at for just a second. I think what makes this brief scene one of my favorite in anime is because it so perfectly encapsulates that moment. That moment you get sometimes in your life that feels so perfect, you wish you could capture it and make it last an eternity. When, for the first time in forever, everything feels like it's come together, the bullshit noise gets drowned out, every problem you think you have gets washed away, and for that brief period, everything seems to make sense. You have no fears, no worries. You are just in the best place you can possibly be at right now, and you know it. And right then and there, you think to yourself, fuck it. You know what? Everything's gonna be alright.
Okay. This was a great fucking video. Thank you, Gigak. Found my three anime recommendation that I really needed. Follow Gigak. Follow Gigak. Give this man money and make him Emperor of Japan. Fuck it. Make him Prime Minister and Emperor of Japan. And fuck you if you don't agree. Alright. Okay. Where is it? Okay. So there is a... Is this like a fucking real DMC? Like, I think it's a spin-off. A spin-off of fucking Elden Ring? I need to check this out.
Elden Ring Night Rain is a co-op survival action game where you navigate a vast and dangerous field with other players. You must become one of the Nightfarers, fighting through the endless night and taking on scores of vicious foes over the span of 3 days.
Way.
Once a country that thrived thanks to the power of gods, Limveld is now nearing its end, gradually being eroded by the night that has saturated the land. You will be deployed to hunt the Night Lords as a level 1 character. In your current state, you won't stand a chance against that type of overwhelming power. You must gain the strength to survive by moving swiftly and skillfully. It's up to you to choose your route within the limited time you have before night falls.
Okay.
You can choose to hunt enemies and level up. Search for treasures, weapons, and items.
Okay.
Infiltrate bases guarded by soldiers to gather information from hidden operational maps. Or challenge powerful enemies, wandering the land and lurking in heavily infested fortresses to obtain equally powerful rewards.
What the fuck?
Whether you choose to move together or divide and conquer, your character's skills, playstyle, and traits should guide your priorities. The layout of Limveld will change each time you visit. With every expedition, bases, types of enemies, chest rewards, and other features of the field will fluctuate. Sometimes your exploration may be interrupted by enemy ambushes. So you may encounter unpredictable events, like sudden meteor strikes. Even more dramatic changes can also appear, like erupting volcanic craters bubbling with lava, or dark forests shrouded with corruption that rots anyone who dares explore it. In this constantly shifting world, you will face new choices as the battlefield evolves with each expedition. Evaluate every situation. Use your skills to fight back and survive through the night.
This is just part 1? What the... Okay.
As darkness blankets Limveld, the night's tide will begin to cover the field, narrowing your range of traversal. And as night falls, you will be driven towards an unavoidable confrontation. A harsh battle ensues as various powerful enemies arrive. Some of your allies may fall before their mighty attacks, but this isn't the end. Critically injured allies can rejoin the fight if you attack them using your skills and weapons. You can also rescue them from afar using tools like bows or magic. These battles are tough, but don't give up. use all the powers you have gathered in Limveld to survive and overcome. Eight Nightfarers assembled to defeat the Night Lord. Each Nightfarer possesses different weapons and unique passive abilities, skills, and ultimate arts. Wilder, a knight proficient in a wide range of melee weapons, can throw grappling hooks to pull enemies, or swiftly close distances. He can also launch explosive iron spikes that deal a powerful blow to any enemy. Guardian, a warrior equipped with a massive shield, excels in defense. Their skill Whirlwind can lift enemies off their feet and deflect arrows. Their art, Wings of Salvation, repels approaching enemies and deploys a magic circle to save allies from dire situations. Iron Eye, an archer who never misses a foe's weakness, controls enemies from a distance. His marking skill injures and pressures the enemy, greatly disrupting their poise and creating openings to exploit. His art Single Shot fires a supersonic arrow that pierces through every enemy and obstacle, ensuring no escape. Duchess, a virtuous thief with quick reflexes, uses her cunning to confuse enemies. After attacking, she can use the skill Restage to reenact what just happened and deal damage again. Her art Finale hides her and nearby allies from the enemy's view, giving them a chance to adjust their positions or create an ambush. Raider, a seafarer who is resilient and unyielding in battle, doesn't flinch at minor attacks, and rampages through enemies. His skill Retaliate strikes back with a powerful blow that cannot be interrupted by enemy attacks. His art Totem Stellar summons a colossal gravestone that serves as an attack to dispel enemies, acts as a wall to block projectiles, and amplifies the strength of allies through its protective aura. Recluse, a wielder of ancient magic, collects the elemental attributes attached to enemies and allies to produce different types of powerful magic, such as lightning-based or fire-based spells. Her art, Soul Blood Song, can also brand foes with an archaic glyph of blood that allows allies to recover health and magic by attacking them. By mastering the style, skill, and ultimate arts of these Nightfarers, you may be able to survive and defeat the Night.
Part 4? Okay!
The hidden Round Table Hold serves as a base for Nightfarers preparing for battle in relics recovered from expeditions can enhance your abilities when equipped before deployment. Relics have a diverse assortment of effects, ranging from increasing stats to altering the performance of skills. Different relic combinations can alter your gameplay experience, so try out different approaches and see what suits you best for the journey ahead. In a corner of the back room, a small jar merchant operates a bazaar selling various goods. Once you accumulate the currency Merc, earned as battle rewards, it might be worth checking what's on sale. Using the fitting mirror, you can unlock new costumes with Merc and change your appearance.
So cool.
These outfits allow you to change your Nightfarer's style to suit your tastes. Some costumes might even look familiar. As you battle against the Night, fragments of your lost memories may return, giving you glimpses of who you once were. By recovering these fragments of lost memory, you can fill in the blanks of your Nightfarer's blurred recollections. In these memories, conversations with other Nightfarers or residents of the Round Table Hold might reveal new objectives. Achieving these goals during adventures in Limveld will help unravel the past, revealing each Nightfarer's origins and purposes. See why they have come together at this Round Table Hold, and why they fight.
Okay.
The Night Lords are the ultimate threat,
Okay.
waiting for players on the third day in Limbo. The Night Bearers
Okay.
are the only warriors remaining who can stop them and save this land from total obliteration.
Okay.
Battling a Night Lord, a being that boasts overwhelming attack power and toughness, will be more challenging than anything faced.
Wow.
There are ways to resist this threat. By carefully navigating Limbo, acquiring more powerful tools and weapons with attributes effective against each Night Lord, discovering relics, and growing as a fighter through experience and observation, victory against the Night Lord will be within reach. Set forth on this thrilling and fast-paced adventure, filled with danger and achievement.
Wow.
Dare to stand together against the fool.
Oh my fucking god. It's... Okay. There is so much that to fucking say. It releases 30 May? What the fuck? Wait, wait. It releases this fucking month? So, okay. Many things to fucking say. First off, fuck you From Software. Oh my fucking god, they are actually fucking doing it. They are actually fucking like creating something new. From Software is known for to do this Dark Soul, well, the Dark Soul experience. They with the success of Elden Ring, they actually decided to go bigger, to go better, to go greater. And this is the first part was like the DLC for Elden Ring with the arena, but this is divine. This is divine because I don't know how it will function, but my hope is that it will be a self-sustaining game, meaning like you. So basically, it works kind of like in between. It will look like a little bit like Dragon, no, Monster Hunter mixed with like Escape from Tarkov. And if they sustain this game, this will be one of the greatest game of the fucking that gaming has ever seen. If they don't fuck it up, if they actually if actually they believe, and if they if they actually fucking like go through their vision, because like their vision is unbelievable. First off, the setting that they have is already so rich, and when it comes to game design, this is great because these type of like survival and survival games, but also resource games, but also time gated games lack depths and lack a story, a universe within which you can fucking like have this oh my fucking god type of reaction. I really wish this will be great. I really wish this will be great. And my only question is, will it be sustained? Meaning, like, once it releases, will they, let's say, like Fortnite or Genshin Impact, add content to it, like over time? Even with Battle Pass, I don't give a fuck, like anything. I just hope that they sustain this type of game because this is revolutionary. This is a vision. Like they are visionaries. From Software were always visionaries when it comes to gameplay, game design. But this is something that you cannot pass on. at least I won't pass on. Like, this is something absolutely unbelievable. I actually wanted to fucking react to more stuff. Fuck that. This leaves me in such a fucking traumatic, such a fucking happy traumatic state that I'm like, okay, I'll do the rest of the React videos later. Fuck you from software. You did it again. You did it again, and fuck you. I really wish that like you follow. You follow and you are able to share the to create the vision that you are to manufacture the vision that you are describing here, because this is there will be no like if this is as promised, this will be like a revolution within like the video game industry as a whole, just because of too many things. And I'll stop on that because like I said, if there is like if I start talking about it, I will never it will take like fucking 5 hours. Anyway, okay, so this was the Elden Ring Night Rain. It releases the 30th May, so I need to fucking like check out where the fuck I will I will write this down. Uh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So no matter who the fuck you are, no matter what the fuck you are, give it a try. Give it a try. Give it a try. This is something that might. This is the type of game that might change your fucking life. Anyway. So as I said, this fucking trailer really made me reconsider my fucking life. So I'll actually like do the other reaction videos later during the week. So yeah, I'll see you later, and as always, be toxic. Be toxic. See ya.